Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sune, and I hope you're well, and if you're not, I hope you're well soon. So, crazy, I just started this video, now I have a ringing in my ear. So, means I know I'm making the right choice by making this video, apparently. But, I wanted to talk about, self-judgment. Just a little bit, because I've had moments, I think we all have moments, where we judge ourselves for either what we think we can or can't do, by our appearance, by, what people have said about us, or like standards of what we should be doing, who we should be, what we should look like. But the reality is that we are born exactly the way that we are. And strengths, weaknesses, whether we meet a standard or we don't, it doesn't necessarily matter. We are all unique, and that is the beauty of humanity. If we all were exactly the same, or fit into the standard, that'd be so freaking boring, right? Like, the beauty in humanity is in the variability, is in the difference and the uniqueness of each of us, what we have to offer. And when you accept yourself as you are, strengths, weaknesses, just everything about you, outer and inner, even the things that you may feel ashamed of, a lot of those things which are probably normal, probably very human, you free yourself when you accept it. You free yourself from self-created prisons that manifest from your outer world, your own perception of the world, your own perception of other people, perceptions that have been put onto you that you accepted, whether subconsciously or consciously. And when you are able to accept yourself as you are fully, that is when you free yourself to be yourself. You free yourself from feeling you need to be a different way than you actually are, and seeing the value in who you actually are. Have you ever gone somewhere? I know this has happened to me because there's people like that out there. You just go out into the world and you see people who just so seemingly effortlessly, or they just don't have a care in the world. Is that realistic? Probably not. They're a human being. But when you see someone just fully being themselves, they don't care who's there. They're like, I'm just going to laugh super loud because I'm happy right now. Or I'm gonna dance in that shopping aisle because I want to. Like, it doesn't, when you see people being uniquely them, fully them, what do you feel? Right? What do you feel seeing someone be so free with themselves, accepting themselves, and not worrying that they're not fitting into a standard or a norm? Personally, for me, when I see people doing that, it makes me feel like I can do that too. It makes me feel like I can be myself too. And it makes me happy for them because they're able to express themselves so beautifully without judging themselves, without caring about others' potential judgments of them. Right? You may hear some creaking. Sorry about that. But I also want to say, I wrote this in my journal. Yeah, there's some creaking and stuff going on up there. But I wrote this in my journal the other day. Actually, it was January 1st when I wrote this, and I was like, yep, this year we're gonna not judge ourselves so harshly because we are human beings and we are amazing, unique, beautiful as we are, and I ain't gonna do that to myself anymore. Or at least do my best not to. So I wrote, we judge ourselves most because we know ourselves. we see all of our flaws and exacerbate that it means we are unworthy. But this is a self-distortion. Because we are in our bodies, because we see everything about ourselves, not only do we see all of the good, we also see all of the bad. So sometimes it's hard to not fixate on the bad, right? The bad, the flaws. Because we're like, oh, there's something wrong with me because of that perceived bad part of yourself. Know that there is not necessarily a bad part of you. And I don't you know how people say like humans are inherently bad or they're inherently good? I don't really believe that at all. I don't believe either of those things. I think it's variable. I think people can do or embody good and bad things, but I don't think that means that you are good or bad, if that makes sense. So you can make a choice that's not so great, or you can make a choice that's pretty great, that has a good effect. It's all up to you. But know that just because you have made a certain choice or you have done a certain thing doesn't mean that you need to tear yourself apart for that. Because once again, we are human beings. We choose what we choose, and our free will allows us to choose things even if they're not the best for us. And so it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have done things that you're not so proud of, that you may feel others will judge you for. But here's the thing, it's really funny, is that people love to judge each other for these things, but they themselves do the same things or make the same mistakes. You know? We find it so easy to judge each other based on those wrong, bad things, when a lot of those people who are doing the judging are judging other people because they themselves feel that they have done something wrong. They're already judging themselves. So to feel better about themselves, they judge other people. And you may be doing that too without even realizing. I know I've done it many a time, and I still do sometimes, and I have to catch myself okay, I'm judging this person right now, but why am I judging them so harshly? Because I'm trying to feel better about my own self-judgment. But people that are secure in themselves, who accept themselves as they are, knowing that they're imperfect, but not caring and understanding that they can accept that and just do the best with what they have and who they are, those are the people that don't feel the need to judge other people harshly. To judge them in a bad way is what I'm saying, in a bad way. Judgment is important in terms of, actually, I saw this video, and she was talking about judgment versus discernment. How judgment is more of externalizing, kind of you're excluding in a way, if that makes sense. It's when you are judging someone, it's like you're excluding them based on that judgment. And then when it comes to discernment, it's like you are accepting certain things. It's more like you're including, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's hard to explain how she did. Honestly, maybe I'll put a link to her video in my description and she'll explain it to you better than I am. But I thought it was really interesting because discernment is kind of like judgment in a way that is not, that it's like judgment with love rather than hate or just trying to create someone as other, if that makes sense, in a bad way. So I think about that, and it's good to have discernment. It's good to be able to observe things, people, places, things without condemning them to a certain ideal or a certain standard, because we are all human beings. We're imperfect. And yes, we're spiritual beings too, but I will always say this, we are also human beings, and ignoring the fact that you are a human being, it makes it so much harder for you to be a human being, because you're not accepting the inherent self that you are in this body, in this dimension, on this planet, right? You need to accept that, well, you can do whatever you want, but I recommend accepting yourself as a human being, knowing that no one is perfect, and no one knows everything. No one is the best or the worst. No one. We're just all human beings, and we're doing what we do the way that we do it. However that happens. But yeah, like I said, when you accept what is, when you accept who you are, who other people are, without judgment, but with discernment and awareness, and even if you do judge others, not judging yourself for judging others, because sometimes that's a human tendency just to judge people. It's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay. But when you accept what is, who you are, who other people are, and you just accept the imperfect perfection of humanity, you're free. Because you realize what really matters. You realize that all of these standards, all of these things that society and certain groups of people want you to live by, to attain, it's just something they've created. It's not like it's the truth that you have to be this or that to be worthy or valuable. That is just not that's simply just not true. It's false. It's an illusion. And a lot of people follow it because they fall into the trap of it. They think that it's true. And so they start hating themselves, being down on themselves because they don't meet this standard that someone else created. Well, you can create your own standard. Like, hey, maybe I don't need to be that to be worthy. Maybe I don't need to do this thing this way to be accepted. Maybe I can just do things the way that feel right to me, and that's all I need to do. You know? Maybe I can just be the person that I was born as and not feel like I need to be someone else. Because I see this a lot nowadays. It's like people being shown all of these ways that they should be, but that's not the right way to be for you. And I feel like on an instinctual level, many people know that the way that other people are saying you need to be, it feels wrong when you're being told that. When you're being told you need to be a certain way. There's tension when someone says that to you. Like, oh, you have to be this way. And if you're not worthy. Well, heck that. Like, dang, come on. Like, why are we doing this, you know? It's just so unnecessary. Just because someone views the world a certain way or believes a certain way to be is the best doesn't mean that everyone... First of all, and I just want to say this real quick to help you break an illusion, that when you see a standard and you keep seeing it over and over and over again, it still doesn't mean it's true. Just because someone says the same thing to you over and over again doesn't mean it's true. It just becomes programmed in your mind that it's true because it's been repeated to you. There was repetition to it. Doesn't mean it's true. It just means that your brain started to think it was true because it's what it's been hearing over and over again. So you can counter that, well, by saying other things to yourself, like, actually, this is true. Actually, I'm amazing as I am. Actually, I can do a lot. Actually, I don't have to do that to be valuable. You know? I don't have to have that specific job to have, like, high status or whatever. I don't have to look like a freaking supermodel to be loved. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just... You start to realize that these things are just, like, extreme illusions that just... not realistic and not actually how humans are. Why are we setting these perfect ideals that are unattainable, number one? Temporary, number two. Number three, just annoying. Like, they're just annoying. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves and other people? And I know, I can say this all day, and it's not going to fix the problems of the world. And people aren't just going to be like, yeah, why can't we be friends? And just start, like, accepting each other as everybody is. I know that's not going to happen for me just making this video, but I at least intend for people to see this and maybe help to change your own perception of yourself and other people as people are. So if you're going out and you're like looking at someone and they're dressed a certain way and you're like, oh, why are they dressed that way? It's like, who really gives a crap how they dress? Like, what if they just want to dress that way? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect you. I mean, maybe you don't like what they're wearing, like visually to you, you're like, ugh. And that's cool, that's fine. You don't have to like what they're wearing, but if they like it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, just acknowledging that we're all sovereign beings, we're all unique, and you don't have to like everybody. You don't have to follow what other people do. You just have to accept that everyone is going to be the way that they are, and that it's beautiful even if it's bad or it's good, because it is what someone else is choosing to express themselves as. Their soul is choosing to look the way they look, to be where they are in their human self, and whatever is being like, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm not going to do, and there you go. Unique human beings, unique beings, sovereign beings. So it becomes a lot easier to just live your life and not give a crap when you just accept yourself and others as you are, and you move on. You free yourself. You allow yourself to actually have the life that you want. You allow yourself to meet people that actually want to meet you, want to be around you, share the same ideals as you. You know? Anyway, I think I'm going to end it here, but I hope you guys are well. And if you're not, I hope you're well soon. And I hope this helped. So bye.